Hi, welcome to Rock Paper Hand Grenades. This is my crazy accomplice, Josh Solomon.
I'm not
Right?
as crazy as you. I'm crazy, just not as crazy as you.
I know, but that's still, I look at that as a badge of honor, really.
Okay.
Because I invite crazy people on the show.
Hey.
John, no, not you. No, you're wonderful. John Burt is the one that's crazy.
Yes.
Representative Burt and
Be
Janine
nice to
Notter's
the
here.
guest, Gary.
Janine is this. I been on the show. Hasn't been on the show for quite a while.
Time, yeah.
And now you've advanced to what the heck position do you got? I don't even know what it's called.
Well, it's called the Deputy Republican Floor Leader, but it's really the whip. But, that's, people think violence, and, and
Yes.
they
I
whip,
do.
so.
Every time I think of you, I think of violence. So
I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Janine is as the minority whip basically has to go through all the bills and try to figure out where the leadership is going to be and what they're going to approve and attack or fight with and for and
And you keep track of the floor fights too, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
And we whip, so if somebody's not in line, then they might find a horse's head in their bed.
Yeah. Now,
I'm just kidding. We
now,
don't do that.
what do you do? No, that's the Democrat Party. What do you do
no, it's
with?
a donkey head.
Yes, yes.
donkeys.
Donkey head, yeah.
What do you do with that crazy group up in 378 that
you
yells
guys,
roll
yes,
calls?
yes, the
and-
troublemaker section. Yeah,
Yes.
I believe you sit there. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a group. We always know. We hear it. We hear it from the front row. I'm like, yeah, there they go.
Yeah,
And
they
then
go.
sometimes we get to go back and do something like, no, send Al. Send Al Baldessaro to go do something.
So what was on the fire this week? Because you had how many
Oh,
bills
good
did you
grief.
have to read?
This week there was 128 bills to read. Last week it was 190.
Yeah.
And
So-
how many were worth the paper it's printed on out of the 125?
Well, that remains to be seen. But as I was reading the bills, there's about 4 or 5 bills increasing penalties for hurting an animal, like if you leave the dog in the car, if you leave the dog out in the snow, if you hurt a bird. There was one, if you hurt a bird, that's going to be a criminal offense. But and those will probably pass. But there was also 4 or 5 life
Wait.
bills.
Yeah, I know.
Pro-life
I heard
bills?
4 of them today. There was one. Was it last week? I think we had another one.
That was that was to codify it and put abortion in the Constitution.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Reps Hall was packed of people opposing that.
Yeah.
So if I'm driving down Mass Road and a bird flies into my windshield, am I at fault for that?
That'll be next
Well,
year's
I wanted
bill.
to know,
Do
what
I-
about the windmills? The
Yeah.
eagles are flying into those windmills. Bats are flying into the windmills. If you kill all the bats, what's going to eat the
Any of
mosquitoes?
those windmill owners paid for the killing of the endangered bald eagle?
Yep.
Has anyone paid for that?
Nope.
No. Okay.
No.
I'm just curious.
If you
I'm just
call the
curious
Department
about
of
what
Fish and Game, you
constitutes
can
hurting a
find out
bird.
how many eagles have died from flying into those.
Oh,
those
the
windmills.
statistic is out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
So what was the bird bill? What does it mean?
The bird bill, not the
bird
one
brain.
from 10 years ago. We
no,
were on
no,
opposite
no,
sides.
no, that was that's when you learned to hate me.
I don't hate you.
Oh,
I
okay.
just wanted you to be on my side.
Yeah, I
But you
didn't.
were hilarious. Can we just talk about you were there.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Oh,
the Quaker parrot bill, okay, also known as monk parrots.
Which passed.
Monk,
Passed.
monk
She beat me.
parakeets,
Oh,
Quaker
she's-
parrot. Yeah, I
she's-
won. I was a
you were,
freshman
you
too.
were,
I
yeah,
know.
she was a
Yeah.
freshman. You were like been there
Seasoned-
20
He was the
years.
chairman.
Seasoned
He was the chair.
veteran.
Kicked by
Oh
a
yeah,
freshman?
I did.
Oh.
I did.
Oh,
that's so
she gave him a
embarrassing.
wedgie right on the house floor.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, the story was it was on the front page of the paper. This woman was raising Quaker parrots, and then found out that they were illegal. So she called the Department of Fish and Game and said, "Somebody told me that Quaker parrots are illegal. Is that true?" They said, "Yes, ma'am." She quickly hung up the phone. 3
But
days later, they were
they
knocking
showed up
on
at
her
her
door,
door, yeah.
and said, "You cannot raise these birds." She said, "Why? People in New Hampshire have been raising these birds for 20 years. They've been sold in pet stores. Nobody knew they were illegal." I just scrolled and scrolled trying to find out when the legislature made them illegal. Didn't find anything because there never was a bill to make them illegal. It was a rule put in by the Department of Fish and Game.
So it's
So-
not a law,
It-
it's just a rule.
Yeah.
But it had with the mandate behind it. So, but nobody knew. So it was a big, long, drawn-out fight. We had experts come in. Gary was the chairman. I had to go before the Rules Committee to get permission first to put in a late bill, which was granted to me. And then when I went to go in front of him. And he said, well, maybe we can put an amendment and grandfather the birds in, but what about the people selling the birds? It's a
Right.
pro-business bill.
Right, right,
And
right.
we learned about these birds. They've never been seen in the wild in New Hampshire, not in the 100 years the Audubon Society's been, is that what they're called? They look
Yeah.
for count the birds. There's never been a problem with the birds in New Hampshire.
And they taste
They-
good.
No,
are
they,
they-
oh, you and your jokes. And you were in on those too. I remember. I've known you guys 10 years, and I remember all your jokes with the parrot
Are
pot
they
pie.
predators? What's the,
Parrot
what's the
pot pie.
reason? Why didn't you want them legalized?
Well, the reason I didn't want I want them grandfathered in but not legalized was because they are an invasive species. If in Chicago they actually what they do is they create nests typically around like
Power lines, so they don't
power
freeze to
lines,
death.
right?
Gotcha.
And what they do to adapt to colder climate is they make their nests thicker.
Right.
And they're not just a nest for a pair of birds, it's a nest for a huge family of birds or an entire flock of birds. So the monk parrot nest, and I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but would be as big as these nests put together. Because they just like go completely around and it causes fires and stuff like that.
It caused a fire in Connecticut,
Connecticut,
but
yeah.
we don't have any in the wild. And these birds, like if my bird got out of the house, and this whole time my poor bird had to go be in disguise. And he was
Seclusion, yeah,
well, he was a
she
Mennonite.
painted
He
it.
was a
She
Mennonite
paint-
during those days.
She painted it
Couldn't
red,
be
actually.
quicker.
She was red. She painted it red during the years of, yeah.
Yeah. But,
Well,
But you had
but-
stickers and everything.
oh, and I dressed the part and wore green, and
yeah.
I talked like a bird on the house floor.
Regardless of its ability to build a giant nest, I can understand that. But if it hasn't happened in New Hampshire yet, and
Yeah, but
it's
invasive.
not-
Okay, wait. Yeah, but think of an invasive species.
Well, you would have to have
I
a whole
understand that.
colony of them.
But the
because if
people
my
that were
bod-
raising them didn't know.
Right.
First
I
off,
get it, yeah.
right. And what I'm saying is that the fact that they didn't know is not a reason to send a SWAT team to knock down their door.
Correct.
Oh, not the
Again.
SWAT team. Tell us, Gary. Who was going to come?
No, so this is actually came out pretty good. So, because I screwed up. Most times I tell a joke from the house floor. I've practiced it.
Yeah.
Okay, but this one I couldn't practice because if I told people, it would ruin the joke because I'm telling it in front of everybody. And so I went up there and I did the PI and I said, if we don't pass this, the Fish and Game Department has a crack team of specialists prepared to deal with this, called the Parrot, and then I forgot the punchline.
Parrot troopers.
I realized that, but
Parrot
when I
troopers.
said, so when I said I go parrot, and then I like paused troopers because I couldn't remember what it was.
Ah.
But
and then
the-
no one knows what you said after that because the whole house was roared. It was funny.
So, but the pause was because I was choking, not because I was timing my joke. But that's the way it came across. It was
Yeah.
pretty great.
And you had a straight face when you said it. So then we still talk about the parrot troopers.
Yeah, I got an award from Bill O'Brien about the parrot
About
trooper.
the parrot trooper award, and standard issue was a green Glock.
Yeah.
That came up. Yeah. And then this guy, the other Joker, he had a bill. You want to talk about your bill for the open fire without a permit?
Oh yes. The
Oh,
campfire.
gosh.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun.
See, John just likes causing trouble for the sake of causing trouble.
Yes. Yeah, I want
What-
to do away with the campfire permit because it's private property.
But he said, if you vote with me, I will invite you all to my house for a delicious hot dog.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was voted down, and we were all laughing. And
Barely.
and then the next
Yeah,
week,
barely. I barely lost it.
Yeah.
next week, I think it was Valentine's Day, and you said, last week my heart was broken when you voted against my campfire bill.
And I held up a broken heart.
He walked away with a straight face.
Yeah. Oh, the whole place went, oh.
Yeah, well, we felt so bad for you. And that was the start of Hot Dog Day.
Yes.
That's why we
what
have Hot
it
Dog
sounds
Day.
like that would have been.
So we could have
start
a
of Hot Dog
delicious
Day.
hot dog.
9 years this year.
9 years. Wow.
Hot Dog Day. We've raised 8 years. We've raised over $35,000.
Just for the
For
audience.
dog
You wear a hot dog pin as
Yep.
well.
Yep. I wear
For
my-
the audience that doesn't know, so John, like you said, 9 years ago, started organizing Hot Dog Day
at the State House.
at the State House, and it's pretty great There's free hot dogs outside. The weather's been pretty good most of those years too.
Every year except for last year it rained, and we were only down about 40 people last year with the rain, and it was pouring during hot
And
dog day.
that first year that you had it, she was a representative at the time. Senator Regina Birdsell
Yep.
had her first s'mores. She never
Yep.
had s'mores
Oh.
before. And Regina Birdsell, she also came to testify for the parrot bill
Parrots,
when it
yeah.
went to the Senate. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty great.
So we've got a new bird bill?
Oh, yeah, I forgot where we were. Yeah, the new bird bill, I don't recall all the details. I just, if you heard an animal and it was dog, cat, and bird, I'm like, bird? Really? There's a bird bill? Yeah.
So what happens if you hurt one?
Then there's a penalty, but you can kill a baby. We heard of one bill today. I believe you were there. I was standing
Yeah.
in front of you. That if an infant is born alive, it should be protected. Just a botched abortion. If the baby's born alive, there should be measures made to try to save the child.
Right, and that was being fought.
So what do
tooth
they
and nail.
want? You
Oh,
take
they-
a baseball bat like you used to a
It's
baby
interfering
seal
with the
and
women's. It's everything is interfering with that doctor woman relationship, and when the state should be involved at all.
Oh, come on. In New Hampshire, you don't even have to be a doctor to perform an abortion.
I get that, but the other thing too is if you listen, I forget what this there's one
I'm
doctor
not
that
even going to ask about that one. That one just blows me away. But I
there's,
believe you.
there's one doctor that gets up and says, and I've asked him before, so I didn't bother asking him again because I asked somebody else, but gets up, there is no evidence that anything like this is even happening in New Hampshire. The fact of the matter is, they don't have any statistics. The Planned Parenthood, the ACLU, and the feminists have fought successfully to never have any information and or statistics
Prevent any
or
type of tracking so that
any tracking.
Well, I've sponsored legislation before to get statistics. I took over for the Honorable
And-
Kathy Souza of
Right.
Manchester, who
and suddenly they're all for privacy, right? They're all for your constitutional rights
Yeah.
at that point.
Well,
right?
but
Yeah.
Warren Groen said that Manchester alone every Thursday kills a 4th grade class of students.
Yeah. The other thing too is that
And-
doctor that's the head of what do you call OBGYN
Oh,
doctor?
was he the one that was
the arrogant one, the tall, arrogant guy?
Right, and he wouldn't stop talking, and he said that abortion has gone down because of birth control. Well, guess what? Birth control's been around for decades, and the reason that abortions are going down is because America in whole is becoming more pro-life, and clinics are closing all over the country,
Well-
except New Hampshire.
So he gets up every time and says we don't need statistics, then claims that because of his position, he knows that nothing like this is happening in New Hampshire. There aren't any late-term abortions, and
So why do we need
how
the
do we
laws
know?
to allow
So-
it then?
Yeah.
So what's key here is the testimony he gave a few years ago, or a couple of years ago. I can't keep track, but was that he had never heard of well, first he had never interviewed the doctor that works in Manchester. He's never been to the Manchester clinic, so he really doesn't know what's going on there because he's never been there. And the second one was who was that horrible doctor down I think in New Jersey or
Kermit Gosnell?
he had never heard of him. He had never heard of Gosnell, and he claims to know everything that's going on in New Hampshire, and categorically says nothing like this happens in New Hampshire. But there's no statistics.
Yeah, it's that denial bubble. It's the same denial bubble that's in Washington.
You know,
Yeah.
They're in this denial bubble, and they refuse to even turn the TV on or read a newspaper or educate themselves on any of the topics that they go on about.
Yeah, when the Gosnell case hit the media finally, there are people that we work with, some of our colleagues who have always been pro-abortion, even they were shocked to find out that in New Hampshire it's legal. Abortion is legal all the way up to birth, and there's no tracking. No one knows anything. No one knows how many abortions there are or how much money the abortionists are making off of
Because
this.
most of America was shocked when they saw the New York legislature celebrate
Yeah.
late-term abortion and actually post.
That was a horrible thing to see them all cheering and
Yeah, but so the whole nation was looking at New York, going, "Wow, you've lost it, right?" And I was talking to people, and I said, "That's already legal in New Hampshire.
Wow.
That stuff that they're voting on and talking about, killing a baby after born,
Well, how did it pass here so easy?
it's never been restricted."
Oh.
We keep trying, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep on trying.
You guys are pretty
I
relentless.
think you might have some better luck next term. I got a good feeling about November.
Yes.
Well, we had a supermajority before, but we did have some successes that term in 2011, 2012. We passed a resolution.
Parental notification, right?
Yes, parental notification was one, and there was a resolution to like congratulate, for lack of a better word, the not the clinics, but the centers that help women who have crisis pregnancies. So the crisis pregnancy centers.
Right, right.
And then the following year, the abortion crowd wanted to put in a resolution celebrating Roe v. Wade. And that was ugly. That was just...
That got pretty ugly, yeah.
Yeah, that was ugly. Because they ended up tabling it, but not before saying what they wanted to say on their side.
Yeah, yeah. We had 4 abortion bills in my committee today. One of them was so that you can't get an abortion based on the sex of the unborn child.
They'll kill that bill, won't they?
Oh, I'm sure
Oh, they're
they
going
will.
to kill
They'll
all
kill
of them.
all.
They'll
Even-
kill all 4 of them. That's why I didn't spend a lot of time questioning, trying to get
But
details.
I'm sure that they'll
but-
pass the dog bills, because, that's important.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, it is important. I mean, we probably will, too.
Well, no, we get dog bills in committee too, and I don't think they're going anywhere.
Well,
That we-
Darrell Abbas, state rep, which I do like. He's a good.
he is a really
good
nice
rep.
guy. The cat one.
Yeah, it passed out of
Yeah.
committee 20-0.
Oh, it did?
It did?
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well,
'Cause
what
I
if-
keep
what if
telling 'em
it's
I'm
not a
voting
cat?
against it.
What if you hit something that's dark and you don't know if it's a cat? And
Well, the thing is,
I swear, officer, I thought that was a possum.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I tell everybody, just don't say anything. Did you know you just ran over that cat?
Unfortunately, that's exactly where it's all going to go. We're gonna have all of these bills in place, all of these restrictions in place, and people just aren't going to say anything. People, and that's
Oh, I just
That's
saw
even
where
worse.
I knew we committed, it was like 42 or 43, we break 42, 43 laws every day. Every American breaks that many.
I've heard you say that on the House floor.
I think you're
Oh.
I think you're above average.
I caught John going 56 in a 55-mile
Yes.
zone.
Whoa.
Well, I just saw, and I'm trying to think where I saw it, an article where Harvard, so it has to be true, says that the average American breaks 3 felonies
Ooh,
a day.
every day.
wow.
Wow, that's
Because
pretty
we
cool.
have so many laws on the book.
see now you got me thinking. I got to think what felonies I committed today.
Yeah, see, I don't know any felonies. Now I know, I'm
Well, there's
I
probably
got to
stretch
think
the
about whether
speed
I want to
limit.
think about it on live TV either.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I believe it's still illegal. It's on the books that it's illegal to show a movie on the train on a Sunday. So
really.
maybe
Is
we
that a
should repeal
misdemeanor?
that one. I don't know. I don't know if it's a felony or what.
Does
Probably
watching the
not.
movie on my phone count?
Yeah,
yeah,
you're going to jail.
yeah. You should be
And
in
I think it's
jail.
still on the books. So although we
I
did
don't
bring it
watch
up before
movies on
about
Sundays, so-
gathering seaweed at night, I believe that's also still illegal.
To gather seaweed at night.
Yeah, and in some of these, maybe we should work on that next year.
No, those are fun. Those are the ones that are fun. I like the we had in committee last term was a bill to alter. We have a list of things you can't take from people. Okay? In other words, no matter what happens, the court can't take these items from you. Your pew at church.
Well, that's still my spot.
Well, that's still your spot. They can't take your family pew from you. At church from you. They can't take your Bible. They can't take your books up to a certain value. They can't take more. They have to leave you with at least, I think, 2 pigs, and I don't know how many chickens and goats. There's different amounts for each one, but there's a list of things that no matter how broke you get, no matter what you do, the state can't take those items from you.
Well,
Can you take them to jail with you? Like if
No,
I
I
commit
don't
one of
think-
those 3
no,
felonies
no.
a day?
No.
Getting
Can't
back
bring
to
my books
the
with me?
pigs, and after 9/11, there was a bill passed in haste giving the authorities the right to go and take anything they need from you, including pigs, in the event of a catastrophe, some catastrophe. They could take your gun, food, blankets, your
New
vehicles.
Hampshire or federal?
Yeah, New Hampshire.
It was New Hampshire because when I was a freshman, I put in a bill to repeal that.
Well, we gotta
and
fix that because isn't that what happened
Jay
in
Brandon,
Louisiana
Brandon
during the
Gaida,
hurricane?
who was the state rep that year, he actually did all the work on most of the work on the bill because I had little kids at home and I couldn't stay for a 3-hour hearing. But I was the prime sponsor and I believe it passed and we
Yeah.
were able to repeal it. I think they amended it though.
Yeah. During a national disaster, the police cannot come, or the government cannot come and get my generator
Or my guns.
or my guns.
'Cause that's what happened.
Yeah,
in,
I'm
that's what
almost
happened in
positive, yeah.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Remember, and I believe
Yeah.
the feds told
Well, it was
Mayor
locals.
Nagin. It was Nagin.
Yeah.
Not
that,
Negan.
Huh?
Not Negan.
Yeah.
No, that was a reference to,
Oh, okay.
to the show.
Because he declared an emergency in Louisiana after the hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the names all mixed up, so I don't know which hurricane it was. But the one that everything was flooded for like 3 weeks or a month or whatever,
Katrina?
and he had the National Guard go door to door taking people's guns away
Yeah.
during an emergency.
Yeah, there's
I
a-
like
he
that
got
one
slapped
guy.
by the feds.
Yes.
And told no, that cannot happen. So this business of declaring an emergency so that you can take something from me
Yeah.
is
Well, I like this one guy. I saw a picture of it, and he's standing out there with his gun. He goes, and he spray paints this on his house. So as people, the looters, start walking around to loot stuff, he goes, how did it say? Don't worry about me and my gun. You got to worry about my wife that hasn't showered in 3 days. Or something like that. That she's not happy.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
You go in this house, you got to deal with a wife that hasn't showered in 3 days. It was something. I mean, it was just hilarious. But have you seen Sioux City, Iowa? Right? Is that where it is? Sioux City.
what?
They arrested a guy. 2 policemen went to the Walmart. It's on the news right now. Went to Walmart parking lot and arrested him because they had this ice over. Everything was icy. People were falling everywhere.
no.
He was playing the Benny Hill. He would blare it in his car, the Benny Hill music,
Right.
every time somebody would fall.
Oh, jeez.
He would laugh. Well, the police got out of their car. They went down. They got their butt hurt. They went over and arrested him. And the article doesn't say on what charges,
Yeah,
but after questioning him, they released him.
Well, they were
Yeah.
probably laughing too. They just
Well,
I've seen that. I've seen that going around,
Yeah.
John. And unfortunately, I hate to burst your bubble. It was hilarious,
oh, it was.
but it was from the Sioux City Herald or something. It's a satire website.
Oh, is it? I thought it was
So a
real.
lot of people I got hooked on it too because I thought it was hilarious, right? And I'm thinking, I'm going to get that Benny Hill theme queued up on my phone, so when I see it, I'm going to do it
I
too.
don't know the Benny Hill theme. Can you hum it?
Yeah.
No, but I can play it for you.
Oh,
okay.
it's
You
hilarious.
can pick up your phone on the air.
Hey, just
Yeah,
I
you
gotta
can.
have you guys on my show. I haven't had you on my show yet.
That's right.
Oh, we
Yes.
all have shows. You have one too.
Yeah.
What is yours called?
New Hampshire Politics with John Burt.
John Burr. And you started in 2008?
10.
10?
So I'm in my 9th year, heading 10 years.
I started chatting with Janine in 2006.
Wow.
Really?
So long
I've
ago?
been on the air for
Oh yeah, you've been on a lot longer than me. I don't remember when I started. I think it was like
Yeah,
8
you were
or
right
9.
after me.
After?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Could you imagine somebody falling and playing that music?
That'd get him mad.
So that was a fake. Darn, I thought that
Yeah.
was real.
I looked at it real closely because I was hoping it was true because
It was just hilarious.
but yeah, it was a satire, and I saw a lot of people get hooked into
Yeah, this
it.
is Babylon Bee, which is satire on
Oh,
online.
I was just talking about Babylon Bee with Representative Jason Osborne today.
Yeah, and they they do such a good job that a lot of people say, "Well, that's not true." Yeah, of course it's not true.
Oh, one of the most recent hilarious ones was Babylon Bee. The headline was Babylon Bee purchases competing satire site CNN.
Yes.
And they wrote a whole article about how they're really loving the fact that they got Don Lemon on the team. And
Well, this week I used well, it was where the neighbor held that guy down in, is it Pelham, with a gun? Because he broke into this lady's
Yes.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used that whole clip, and before the video and after, I say I want to thank WMUR for putting this video out that I used under fair use, Yeah, I always say fair
Do you
use.
have Collins on your show, or do
No,
you have
I'm a
Skype on
tape.
your show?
He
You
I
tapes
can
have
have
his-
Skype.
FaceTime,
I have Skype.
so we can Skype our friend, the Honorable
Lyn-
Lynette Peterson.
Yes,
that'd
yeah.
be
Well,
fun.
that'd actually be pretty great.
Yeah, that'll be hilarious.
So, Janine, I came in halfway through a bill that was being heard in criminal justice this morning.
Of the doxing bill.
Yeah, so there was a bunch of state reps, the freshman state reps, introduced a bill that basically, if I understand it
yeah.
correctly, means that if you attack them,
You can't
Like,
pick on them.
you can't pick on them like over
Mm-hmm.
the internet or on Facebook and on Twitter.
Yeah.
But they can pick on you.
Yes, they can pick on you, but you can't pick on
So
them.
they can abuse
They
us
weren't
with
all
their
freshmen.
laws.
Some have been in a
My guess
couple of
is,
terms.
Oh, really?
My
Yeah.
guess is it will only apply to liberal legislators and not
Yes.
conservative.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the speaker now.
yeah.
You watch the
I
House
wasn't
sessions.
going that far, John. I don't want to get you in too much trouble.
Yeah, don't get in trouble, John.
he'll
If you
just.
get in trouble, then I have to hear about it too. Yeah. And
Well,
then
I
we get
was going to
called.
ask Gary if I'm allowed to say Janine's easy on the eyes on your show.
No, you're not.
Oh, that's
Don't
forbidden.
say that.
Oh,
All
no,
right.
that's what got you kicked off your committee, was calling somebody easy on the eyes.
And she thanked
I'm
me.
not offended.
And she thanked me. She wasn't offended either.
I'm old, so thank you.
Yeah, so there was a bill in there, I don't remember what the number was, and yeah, basically it said that if you start, picked on one of these legislators, and wasn't one of the legislators that's upset somebody that called,
You mean the one that went on national television and lied about the men on that committee, including you?
Yes.
The gentleman, including Representative John Burt next to me here, where they were wearing pearls in support of the Women's Defense League.
Defense League.
That's their logo. They what's that called?
Every
That's what they
time
wear.
they see us,
That's
they
a-
put
it's-
pearls on us.
Yes.
calling card.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's their calling card, and I'm a member of the Women's Defense League, so I wear the pearls too. And they said, somebody said that, oh, they're clutching their pearls, they're making fun of women who've lost
victims,
children
yeah.
to gun violence, and that's not true at all. And the way I've always seen the pearls is, okay, we're women, but we're packing, we're still feminine though, so you
Right.
know, we wear the pearls. That's
Yeah, they completely mischaracterized everything that you guys were doing.
so talk about hypocrisy.
And they were confident that the media would go along with it without
So after
looking into
going
it at
on
all.
the air and lying and causing strife for these gentlemen who had threats made against them.
And Cooper on CNN was going to, they thought about they called all the representatives and they didn't want me. So I called them back and I said, I'll come on the show.
Did you?
Well, I can't remember Brent, the guy's name was. So he calls me out of, I think he was out of Boston. So he calls me and he goes, we're not going to have you on now. So originally they scheduled me on CNN.
They
to be-
researched you.
They researched me and I said, why? Well, no, we're just not going to. So I said, President Trump's right then. Excuse me? I said, you're just fake news. So you're going to let that trash on there that's going to lie about us, but you won't let me on there because you know I'll kick his butt right to Sunday. Well, excuse me, Representative Burt.
To Sunday.
And
Love John Burt.
he's carrying on. And I said, no, President Trump's right. You are fake news. That's why you're going to go out of business eventually, or unless you got a ton of money behind you to support you. I don't know why you're still
Yeah,
on
their
the air.
ratings aren't coming back up.
No,
They-
and
No.
MSNBC and CNN, they tanked the day after the Mueller report, and they haven't come back.
well, what they wanted was the freshman legislators to be on Cooper because they can beat them around.
Right.
They don't want somebody like me that won't take
Right.
it and understands how their game is played, and I'm going to slap them.
Right.
Yeah. So they'll let her on and lie about us,
Yeah.
but they won't let
And then she co-sponsors a bill to make it illegal for you to say anything against her.
negative. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Then the
Well, isn't there already laws in place for that? You can't denigrate somebody on live TV.
That's
without-
not true.
Well-
That's not true.
well, I testified against the bill today, and
There's
you know
libel laws
we've been
already-
in.
They already exist.
In the 10 years I've been in, I've been attacked so many times. I mean, here in Manchester,
Well,
I
you
was
just
the
gotta grow a
subject of a weekly
spine.
column. I was called the worst legislator ever. And that woman's column, it lines my birdcage. I look for it, line the birdcage. I don't read it. I told, I suggested today to the freshman reps, I said, just don't Google your name and don't read it, and then you won't be bothered. There's still people out there that talk about me. I don't care.
Right.
If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
You're living
Right.
rent-free right in their prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just get a Teflon coating or don't run for office because it's part of the job. You're going to have people that are going to attack you. Just
Yeah, see, the problem with the slander
Slander, yeah. That's what it
angle is that for us as politicians, the threshold is completely different. So
Yeah,
if
when you're as public, it's for public figures.
yeah, so if Andre is off camera and somebody says that he was wearing pearls to humiliate women that have been abused, okay, if a paper published that, he could sue, okay, because it's not true. They should have checked to find out if it was true, and it ruined it harmed his reputation, okay. So now it comes to a politician. They say the same thing about John. Now John has to be able to prove that that it wasn't true, which that's the easy part.
Yeah.
The hard part is now you got to
Intent.
prove that they knew it wasn't true and they only did it to harm your character.
Right.
So the threshold for finding is so high, you hardly ever see politicians suing anybody.
Yeah.
Because I've had some pretty horrible things said about me too. I know it's hard to believe.
And I've,
but
Really?
and I've
'Cause I'm
had
such a
people
nice
ask me,
guy,
like,
yeah.
like, aren't you going to say anything? This person's going after you. I'm like, no, I don't have time to get into a debate.
That's. I think that's a big thing that anyone getting into the public life. If you've spent your life, you get up, you have kids, you go to work, you come home,
all in the same
and
day.
then, and then all of a sudden middle age, you jump into politics or something like that. You haven't experienced that public thing, and that was a big thing for me back in 2005 when I first kind of grabbed this attention nationally. I mean, I didn't. It just came at me. I didn't realize it, but I was getting death threats and emails and whatnot. And
I had cancer wished upon me.
it starts.
Yep.
It's when it's the first time for you, it kind of gets you in the gut, and you just kind of you're either going to roll with it or you're not, right?
Yeah, that
And I
first
think
year was
that's-
hard.
I think that's true for any freshman politician. Is
Yeah,
that you've got to
yeah.
get over that and realize, you know what? I don't have to respond to all these people. The only people I have
No,
to
you
respond to are the people that are in my personal circle, right?
I think the other thing too is to keep in mind that if you, even if you're in politics, if you never get your head up above the sandbags and start shooting at the enemy, you don't have to worry about being attacked either.
Yeah.
It's the only reason you're attacked or John's attacked is because you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it's aggravating people and they want you to stop.
Yeah.
So it's as soon as you pick up and
You
start,
aggravate people, John.
I have.
Yes.
it's the hot dogs I think mostly are
Yes.
offensive.
I made national news
1
7
year.
times last
Oh
year.
no, 1 year.
Oh yeah, I remember when Ted Cruz was running for president, and somebody on his team, they had heard about you,
Yes.
and they met you like, they said, "Oh, that's you. I like that guy." He read about you in the Dallas News. You've been in the Canadian papers.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one year, John's Hot Dog Day, some of the women in the legislature, I think, you know it better than me, tried to insinuate that the hot dogs,
Oh,
John
yes.
we're doing hot dogs because it's a phallic symbol.
Yeah. And what I was happy about is Democrats went to them. Those said cut it out.
Yes.
Hot dog day is
It was-
sacred.
It was all about
camp.
campfires. It was all about
Yeah.
putting a stick in it and roasting hot dogs over the campfire.
See, that's why you
right?
need to
I mean,
run again,
that's-
because what would we do without John Burton Hot Dog Day?
And last year, the Concord Monitor had a article to protest Hot Dog Day.
An article to protest?
Yeah, some woman put it out.
They raise
A le-
money for dogs.
A letter to the editor,
Real
and
dogs.
she says, "Still give the money to the dogs, but don't go because John is. I'm one of those hobo people. Whatever. What is it? What am I?
What are you?
I don't know. What
Homophobic.
that and a misogynist guy, or it's all those words that they
yeah,
throw
well,
out.
you are. You noticed a woman was
there's
easy on
another
the
word
eye.
called
So.
Yeah.
misandry. And
Yeah.
we see a lot of misandry.
Well,
No one
whatever,
says
when the
anything about
liberals
that.
start yelling, usually it's a
Yeah.
white guy, they'll say, you're this, you're homophobic, and all these other, they list like 6 things right in a row. I'm all of those, apparently. And she listed those.
Middle-aged.
How can
white,
I stand sitting
male.
next to you?
Yeah, it's middle-aged, white, male, gun-toting, angry, conservative.
Is that
Yes.
you?
That's
Is that what you
Apparently,
are?
Yeah.
apparently.
Oh, how about you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm wicked bad. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. Really, I just get angry.
horrible, horrible people we are.
Yeah, I feel guilty.
Don Lemon thinks we're uneducated too. We're
I'm educated.
hillbillies.
You're
Well,
educated?
I'm educated.
I
don't
was
know
in
why-
my criminal justice committee. This was several years ago, and my phone rang, and I looked at it just briefly. It was during a hearing, and it said it was the New Hampshire AG, and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
"What the hell do they want with me?" So I excused myself, went out and picked it up, and it was an AG, and I just got a death threat, and I only told a few people. Well, apparently one of them blabbed, so he was calling to his concerns and wanted to put, the Goffstown police at my house and all this other stuff and do this investigation. I said, no. Look, attorney, I think it was Brody. I said, look, everything's taken care of. The stupid didn't use caller ID block, so I have his phone number, and I gave it to my attorney, so if I end up dead, talk to him. And so we talked a little bit more, and I said, look. I told him where I lived at 7 Bay Street, Greenhouse, and he's like, Representative, don't give your address out. And I said, it's on the state website.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
It
just
is.
Google me. I mean, it's right there. I said I wanted to make sure that he got the right house because not to bother my neighbors.
Right,
Because
right.
he was coming from Connecticut.
Right,
He said
he's going to come to Connecticut.
He lived in Connecticut.
Which thing was he motivated to come kill you for?
I can't remember
Oh,
which
who
one that
knows?
was.
There's so many, so
it was
many
something I
reasons.
said on the House floor.
You're not just pissing people off in this state.
Oh
You're-
no.
Can I say that on TV? Sorry,
did we-
sorry,
Yeah.
Brendan.
Did we already talk about what John and I did a few years ago?
It was my first term.
Yeah, did we talk about that on the air?
No, that
before?
was.
No.
When-
Oh yeah,
And-
so go ahead, tell him.
And what happened? Well, Gary puts this bill in, and I'm a freshman, brand new. I don't even know where the bathroom is. So I'm in where the OLS is. It's the lawyers that draw up all the bills.
Office of Legislative Services.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
I've only been there 10 years. And Gary's there, and he's, one of my reps because I'm one of his reps. We're in the same district. And I said, hi, Gary, what are you doing? Oh, I'm putting this bill in. Can I co-sponsor it? No, you don't want to co-sponsor this one, John. I've done it once before. You get away, go. And I said, no, I'll do it. Okay. So I sign it. Sign on to the bill. Well, it's just me and Gary. Well,
Good job not reading it.
Well, he gave me the.
You're a freshman.
Yeah, I'm a freshman, but he gave me the concept of the bill. So I go home and my answer machine's on fire, and I'm like, whoa. And I pick, beep, you piece of.
I got called the C word.
Really? So I call up Gary. I said, Gary, what the hell happened here? I mean, that was one ride that opened my eyes really quick.
What was the bill about?
The bill, if you look at a lot of what's going on in society and whatever that liberal online thing will attack me again because I say it again. If you look at what's going on in society, a lot of it is that we are training children not to believe in God.
Yeah.
Oh, evolution. That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I think the theory of evolution is absolutely absurd and illogical.
Yes.
Just basic stuff. There's a video you can watch of a cell. I think it's just the DNA of the cell. I forget what it is. It's an animated thing that somebody created. The first single cell creature is so profoundly complicated. It is not possible for it to have happened by accident.
Yeah.
There's a book, Perot. No, I can't think of the author's name, but it said evolution makes as much sense as a tornado going through a junkyard and creating a Model T.
Exactly. Except the difference is, and yes, that's a great analogy, but the difference is
Perloff, James Perloff. That's the
Okay.
name of the author.
the difference between the Model T analogy is yes, it's more complicated, but let's hand you the analogy of a tornado going through and a Model T is created. The difference is that the Model T wants to live, and the Model T can reproduce itself.
Yeah.
So it's not just the assembly of a billion different intricate parts, or actually in the case of an amoeba, it would be 300 billion parts just for the DNA, not including the exterior. So it's not, it's actually quite a bit more complicated than the Model T. It's more like an F-14.
Well, so what did your bill do?
It just basically, all it did was say that if you're teaching evolution, you have to point out the flaws in the evolution. You can't
Yeah.
just, because they teach it as if it's gospel.
And that
Pardon
brought a
the
lot.
expression.
And that brought
Right.
a lot of nuts out.
That a lot of nuts.
I don't understand that. See, I don't understand how education moved that way, because
The
I'm a
liberals.
little bit younger than the rest of you, just a little bit. I still have
What do you
gray
mean
hair,
by that?
but
Hey, I'm
Even-
offended by that
You
comment.
should be.
but even in the 80s and 90s, I went to school. We got evolution, and we also got a humanities, where we got the Bible and multiple denominations that we discussed the stories of the Bible. We discussed intelligent design, right? So and the problems with evolution. That, to me, that was natural part of my education.
You were taught
Right.
critical thinking.
Exactly.
They're
and I
not
don't
taught-
understand
they-
where
they-
that went.
Because they're indoctrinating children. They're not teaching them to think.
I agree that that's where it is right
And
now.
the thing
I just
is-
don't understand
I
how
went
it
to
got
Catholic
there.
school.
I just don't understand how it got there. Gary and I, we have some differences. I may not agree with you 100%.
What?
Whoa!
Yeah.
Jeez!
But I think we talked about this before. I am a firm believer that the closer science gets to analyzing where life came from, that at some point we're going to merge.
I think we know where life came from.
We are going to find that there is intelligent design. There
What is
is
it? What-
something else that put us here.
What famous scientist said that when they finally get to the origin of the universe, they're going to see God looking back?
I believe that as well, right? It doesn't mean that I discount
Because-
science, right? Science is there and
Well, you
it's
know what?
telling us
Well,
the things
I
we
always
need
say
to know.
two things.
Only two things? I don't believe that.
Well,
Do you
that's
believe
true.
that?
But about
No.
this subject,
Okay.
two rocks smashing together caused me to see, do this, and all the other stuff. But then also, we've been around for what, 2,000 years or 3,000
Is that
years?
how old you are?
Humans.
Yeah,
And why has nothing ever evolved in that time frame?
right.
But it evolved prior to that.
Well-
so nothing's evolving now.
We haven't grown extra fingers, but we know that the average height of a human has gotten taller.
Yeah, but
Not
that's-
me.
that's all
What happened to me?
Right?
That's all
I'm like
food, though.
5-0.
Yeah.
It's not
Right,
genetic.
It's our lifestyle, right? The genetics haven't changed.
No, the
but,
genetics haven't changed
like
in
I
a
said,
long
we
time.
haven't grown extra fingers.
The other thing too, if you look at the genetic, the fossil record, if in the books at school, they will show you a tree or it looks like a tree, where you have this morphous animal, and some of them became horses, and some of them became zebras, and some of them became giraffes. So they have this theory that they all started from one origin, and they evolved to different types of animals over time. But if that theory was correct, there would be more fossil records of those intermediate steps than the ones that exist now.
Correct. Yes.
But they never find that.
They only find the fossil fuel or fossil.
Fossil
they only
fuel.
find the
Yeah,
fossil
let's
fossil.
that'll take another hour if we want to go there.
yeah.
I'm on the Science, Tech, and Energy Committee, and one of the things that we hear a lot is the only difference between science and science fiction is time.
Huh. That's actually true. It's a lot. That's what they do. They just add millions of years to an equation, so all of a sudden it must work.
Well, here in Manchester, what's his name? Not the Segway guy.
Gene
Army.
Kamen. No.
Army, ARMI.
Okay.
They're making skin. You know who?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're
I
growing
thought Dean
organs.
Kamen was
so
in on that.
maybe he is, But
there's another.
but human skin is a commodity. Who knew? I mean, that's really amazing that they could grow skin.
kinda
And you
creepy,
know,
too.
and you know what I'm going to
Yeah.
ask, because you know me. What question am I going to ask? Where do you get the cells from? If it, from the patient. So like a
So
wounded
not-
warrior,
Not from
a
Planned
wounded
Parenthood?
warrior. No, a wounded warrior that could take the soldier's cells and then grow skin for him.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
actually
that's,
pretty
that's
amazing.
another thing.
I know, I
That's
wanna go
another
there.
argument
I wanna
that
tour.
Planned Parenthood and all that business has was this whole stem cell research and whatnot. Well, the research has advanced.
Yeah.
They can
They can use adult
get
stem cells.
new stem cells from adults now, right? They can.
Yeah,
can
they don't-
take
they
those
don't need
stem cells
unborn-
and regenerate them as though they're newborn cells.
There's even controversy about vaccinations that some of the ingredients in the vaccinations are really nasty things, including aborted fetal human tissue,
Wow.
fetal cells. Mm-hmm.
Well,
That,
I don't know that I've heard that, but you know, most vaccines are created using eggs, chicken eggs.
right, which
Right.
I'm
So,
allergic to eggs.
You know,
so I
there's your fetal, but not necessarily human fetal.
well, the paper that I have says human, so it's something to look into to find out more. You know, 'cause if there's a question about it, then we should look into it.
We got to talk about guns because we've covered
yeah,
every
we have to.
other subject
Yes.
on the
But-
planet in an
Except
hour,
our favorite one.
except our favorite one.
Yes.
Oh, where's the tickets?
Well,
We
did-
have some tickets.
you knew I was running for president.
You're running
Yes.
for president too?
John Burt is
No,
running
Biff.
for president.
Biff
Right.
Burt.
Biff Burt.
Oh, Biff Burt, that's right. I did
Yes,
see
and
that.
I'm going to give, if I
So-
win, I'm going to
Did you
give
hear about
4
this?
free guns away every year to every American citizen.
If you win
President.
Presidency.
this year.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you've,
G-
so you've only got
Gary.
9 months.
Have you had John on the show since the budget?
I'll vote for
What-
you.
Remember
All
what
right.
he put in the
If
front,
that means guns every
in front of
year.
the State
Yes.
House?
Yeah.
4.
Right.
That was John Burt that put the manure spreader in front of the State House.
Yeah.
Did you talk about that on your show?
I don't think so.
Oh, that was funny.
That was
What did you
that
do?
was-
You know, I made national news again, even up into Canada, because I have a bunch of Canadian followers.
Yeah.
And they were like, John, you're in our paper with the new manure spreader on the front lawn of the
Nice.
State House. Sweet.
Nice.
'Cause that-
Come
that-
up here and do this at the
that-
Parliament. and, but I didn't make any local news.
Yeah, sure
Really?
you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did, because I cut out the
The-
pictures and
the
they're in my
Concord.
scrapbook.
I thought just the Concord Monitor was the only one that put.
Oh,
they
well,
put-
that's local.
Yeah, they put me on the front page. But everybody else, no, because they're told to.
You
hush,
have a
hush.
whole page in my scrapbook, the John Burt.
Really?
There's a whole John Burt
I have
page.
to look at
You
it.
get
Yeah.
a stalker, John. That's what
Yes.
I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
tell
right.
him. Tell him.
So the producers of our show, the Wilson Hill Pistol Club, are having a raffle. Well, actually, they're having a couple of raffles.
I didn't win the last one,
You
so
didn't
my
win?
odds are
Well,
better on this one.
Neither did I. I was really looking forward to that one. So we got 2 raffles. Raffle number 1 is Desert Eagle 1911C stainless steel match barrel. That is an excellent 1911. If you're in the market for a 1911, its tickets are 3 for $10. So 3 for $10, and we'll hold the raffle as soon as the tickets are sold out. How many tickets we got?
600 on that one.
600
got 10 bucks
tickets,
I can
and that's
borrow.
all we're selling. It's 3 for 10, and our last raffle went really fast. We did the drawing in less than a month.
Who won?
Do we have the name yet?
For
The Creedmoor.
we're going to redraw it again this Wednesday.
Okay, so we're going to redraw the Creedmoor, and you're still in it, Gary.
Well, what happened to the first draw?
We
The guy
couldn't
never
get-
showed up?
We couldn't get a hold of the person who we drew.
Really?
So
Lucky for you.
if you put your phone number on one of these tickets, answer it or return the call, because we're redrawing a 6.5 Creedmoor bolt action. Was it bolt action? Was it
6.5 Creedmoor, American Eagle.
American?
American.
Eagle. So,
American. Ruger.
if you're in on that, you're still not a loser. Although
well,
all
it
of our
depends on who
viewers
you are,
winners
really.
anyway.
Some people are probably losers.
So we got the Desert Eagle 1911C, 3 for $10, and then we have a real nice one, brand new Colt Python, 6-inch stainless steel, 357 Magnum revolver.
Ooh, I like that.
That is a
I like
brand new
that
one.
one.
That is a really nice revolver. If you're in the market for a revolver, that 357.
Who isn't in the market for revolver?
That's right, right.
Now,
So again, 3 for $10, and how many tickets?
800.
800 tickets we're
No.
putting on that one because we expect it to be very
Do
popular.
you have any guns, raffles on a gun that, what was the Democrat down in Washington DC, like 1,000 rounds a minute
No, we don't
Didn't
have
he
any
say that?
raffles on any full autos.
He said that they have to stop
Oh, yeah.
stop selling the guns that fire 1,000 rounds a minute.
Yeah, I haven't
And I'm
been able to
like-
get my
I
hands
thought
on
it was
one of
1,000 rounds a second.
those. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was a
Yeah,
second.
it was like super fast, and I'm going, wow, those would be perfect for duck
And the
hunting.
magazine alone would be a pain in the ass to hold up.
Oh yeah!
Cherry ship only.
yeah.
Wow!
No.
Never seen a
Gosh, you got
1,000
you-
round magazine.
Yeah, you're gonna have to apologize.
Yeah, I apologize.
He uses
I think
body
that's the
language.
first time I've done that.
Yeah, it
I've
is.
been doing live TV for years.
I know.
Oh, you just got beeped? Is that what that voice
I
was?
think I did.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes. So anyway, Colt 357 revolver,
And how do
Desert
they
Eagle
how do they
1911.
get those tickets?
They can go to the Wilson Hill Pistol Club website, wilsonhillpistol.org. They can attend a meeting first Wednesday of the month. Again, the address is on the website. At the end of this show, you'll see the logo and the website pop up, and you can give us a call, give the president a call, or if you're friends with Gary, bug him, bug me on Facebook. We'll get you the tickets.
I never agreed to that.
You just did.
You
I
just
just
did.
did.
So, anyway, maybe that was a little bit too much promo for the club. Because we were going to talk about other guns. Wasn't there another gun bill? What's this elderly confiscation bill that
do
happened
we
the
have
other
time
day?
to talk about it?
Yeah, we got issues with that.
We got a couple minutes.
We got
Yeah.
issues, all right. Go ahead. Tell us what the elderly. We got to take away guns from elderly people.
Yes. Yeah, Governor Sununu wants an elderly bill, but they found some flaws in it again that will confiscate guns. So they're working on it to remove that, from what I understand. So it's
So
a
the
clean
bill isn't necessarily for guns. It's for the protection of elderly.
It is for the protection of elderly, but
But a nefarious AG could use it the wrong way.
yeah, or
And
local police can use
Right.
it the wrong way
Okay.
and confiscate our guns, or even the elderly's guns.
Right.
That's the red
And-
flag.
Yes, and that's what we don't want.
Okay. And so was that debated in committee recently?
Yes, that was just last week.
Was it released from committee?
No, they're working on the amendments
Okay.
to try to clean up the language.
Okay.
So the House doesn't meet until February 6th. So we're still having hearings, and my
That's
committee
next
hasn't even had
Thursday,
exec
right?
sessions.
Next Thursday.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the governor will be speaking as well.
Yeah. State of the state
Oh.
on how great we're doing.
We are.
And did you see President Trump down in Wildwood, New Jersey, just had a
Rally.
rally, 7,500 seat arena,
Oh,
and
that's small.
125,000 people requested tickets. They say 60 to 80,000. They really don't know how many showed up.
They even had people camping out days before
Yeah.
the rally.
And Bloomberg can't get 140 to show up.
Good.
Or the Indian. She has like 30 people show up to her.
The Indian.
Who's the Indian? Down in
Sacagawea?
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Sacagawea? Pocahontas?
The one that doesn't like Bernie now.
Chief Running
Yes.
Mouth.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Her and Bernie are having a fight.
Warren.
And
Is that her name?
Yeah, Warren.
Warren.
They
And
need to go
CBS.
smoke a
It took me a while to think. I'm like, oh,
Well, CBS slapped her
pay attention to
around.
her.
Yeah.
Talked to her on CBS about the tiff that they have, Bernie and Warren. I'm not going to talk about that. And they kept right after her, and I'm like, whoa, CBS, don't be conservative here. Don't be a real news media.
Have,
Right.
have the Bernie and Warren people been coming door to door to your house? yet?
yes.
Yeah, I
Well,
just
they
saw-
didn't come to my door. I saw them in my neighborhood.
Well, on the
Warren
we only
fellow-
got 2 minutes. On the bright side, we just had a special election in whatever town it is. I forget what town it is.
Mike Bose, Epping?
Was
Yeah,
it
Epping.
Epping?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there was a primary. Are you talking about the primary?
No, before
With
that there was
Elliott.
a special
Michael
election.
Bose. He came back to Science, Tech, and Energy.
Right,
I'm
but
sorry.
the cool thing was, the Democrats were using all the presidential candidates. They were
Yes.
using their people to go door to door in that district. They spent, I think they outspent them 10 to 1 or
Oh, yeah,
something
10
like
to
that.
It
1,
was
yeah.
huge. It was a huge margin.
And he still won.
Yeah.
The Democrats they might have a lot of money, but they've lost their mojo. I'm pretty sure they've lost their mojo. This is the time to get rid of Pappas.
Yes.
The Warren folks come to my door. They come with pamphlets, and one lady even came with cookies. Like I'm gonna eat cookies from someone who shows up at my door. They come with the pamphlets. I said, why don't you just take that whole stack of pamphlets and leave it in that trash can right over there? Don't even go to the recycling bin because it's not worth recycling those. They don't like me when I say that.
Hey, Janine, John.
Yes, thank you.
And it's Josh, right?
It is
It's
Josh.
Josh. We'll see you guys. Thank you. We'll see you next week.